Bashar al-Assad was the face of some of the most brutal crimes against the Syrian people. The 13-year civil war under his regime left 500,000 people dead, but he wasn't alone.
It took thousands of people to develop and deploy chemical weapons on the civilian population, run illicit drug trades to fund the dictatorship, and oversee the torture of political prisoners. These are just some examples of the crimes tied to the Assad regime. We landed on these 55 sanctioned officials who are linked to some of these atrocities.
The Assad regime fell last year, and for the first time in decades, Syrian civil society groups and international organizations saw a new chance for accountability. We quickly learned that Assad and his family had fled to Moscow. But for many of the other top officials, there was no trace. So for the past year, we've been investigating their roles and whereabouts.
We've been speaking to dozens of sources across the world and in Syria, poring over international sanctions documents and examining digital breadcrumbs.
Take Mohammed Khanjou al-Hassan, a military prosecutor for the Syrian regime. This document that we were able to photograph inside Syria is an order to Air Force intelligence suggesting that they not provide information to families of detainees that had died under Air Force intelligence detention. The document is signed by Mohammed Khanjou al-Hassan. This is his signature here at the bottom with his title as well. So this document helps establish his place in the chain of command in keeping information from the families of those who've been killed. His name also appears in a criminal complaint that's been filed in Germany, as well as sanctions in the United Kingdom.
I recently went to Syria, and with the permission of government officials or family members that were still there, I was able to visit several villas belonging to regime officials.
I'm sitting here in the very well-maintained garden of Kamal Hassan, who oversaw the systematic detention and torture and execution of civilian prisoners here in Syria. He was the last head of military intelligence before the Bashar al-Assad regime fell. We received a tip that there was an Assad family villa here on the coast.
It's an interesting mix of things for fun, like putting this behind a speedboat. At the same time, between all the stuff, all the trash here, there is, for instance, a gas mask.
But here's where things got particularly complicated. We had their names and roles established, but for some of them, we still had to figure out what they looked like.
Operating with this level of secrecy is typical for dictatorships, and it makes seeking accountability and justice much harder.
For example, Bassem Hassan. He's accused of procuring weapons for military use and coordinating with the chemical weapons program. He's been connected to this 2013 attack on Ghouta, a suburb of Damascus, where a lethal nerve agent killed at least 1,500 people. His name appeared in sanctions, and there's an international warrant against him, accusing him of complicity in crimes against humanity. But when we started looking into him, we didn't even know what he looked like.
We managed to find his daughter's Facebook page by going through another regime official's Facebook profile. She posted a photo of her father, and that led us to his Facebook profile that yielded us with way more photos of him for us to compare. A Syrian researcher shared an even more recent photo of him with us.
Over time, we ended up putting a face to a lot of these names. And we also know where some of them are. Bassem Hassan, for example, we found him in Lebanon.
Multiple sources have told us that Kamal al-Hassan, whose house we visited, is in Russia.
As of now, we've uncovered the whereabouts of around a dozen people, and we're continuing to report on many more.
The further we get away from the fall of the Assad regime, the easier it may get for them to completely disappear and therefore never face any accountability for the crimes they were alleged to have committed.